everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drop Frame. Sorry, there was noise in the background. There's always random noise in this show. I don't know why. What? Oh.
I was clearing.
I thought Cohh hit a button, but he was just making fart noises. You should be a mime, Cohh. A fart mime. You don't do anything else but just make farts. There you go. He's practicing.
Oh my god. I'd tip that guy if I saw like him on the corner of Central Park or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's new.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you some Kickstarter money.
Yeah. Get him started. Get him started. Cohh, what episode are we on?
70.
70. All right. I think we were 69 recently. Yeah. Yeah. So is that like kind of nice? Or is that not nice at all?
Pretty nice.
Is it bad?
Neighbor of the nice.
It's neighbor of the nice. There you go. Okay. That's a good way to say it. Good way to say it for sure. What's been going on? We covered all the news this weekend. The Ubisoft stuff is over. The Devolver stuff is over. Did you guys see there? Apparently in that Devolver game thing that they put out, there was like 3 unannounced games in there. Did you happen to see what those were? Do you know what those are off the top of your head, Cohh? Or inklings of what they are? Okay, I didn't either. I just knew that there was 3 other games in there. And I never saw a trailer for them or anything. So I don't know if that project or experiments worked. I don't know. Maybe check and help us out with what was actually in there. But they're saying supposedly they've added more trailers to it after the fact. So that's that. I don't know. And then, of course, the Ubisoft conference, we covered that. We got some Watch Dogs 2 gameplay, some Assassin's Creed gameplay, and then the Far Cry stuff. And they also announced they're going to do another one.
Did any of you guys watch anybody play that Devolver game, the Devolver marketing game? Like, I know Dan was playing it, right?
Yeah, I know Dan played it.
As gaming.
I didn't see anyone else. I know it was.
Okay.
I know it was. What you expect that to be, kind of a marketing thing with not that much meat to it. I think they just kind of played trailers and had different booths inside of there, and kind of a, I don't know, after hours type booth tour type deal. But seems like a cool thing. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Then in terms of news, it's been kind of a. What was that, Cohh?
I said unique and new.
Yes.
So that's 2 things that are definitely nice in this industry. That stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Apart from that, there's not really been much news out. That Death Stranding PC port came out yesterday. I've heard it's fine. I've heard it's a well-running Death Stranding game. I have no intention of playing that game again. At least right now.
A couple of sponsor streams, right?
About these days.
Yeah, there was a couple sponsored streams. What did you say, Cohh? Sorry, you both talked.
I said a good port is something to be happy about these days.
Yeah,
like we can only hope that Horizon is going to get the same treatment.
Yeah, I'm curious. So I saw those sponsored streams as well, Zeke. I didn't read, or I haven't seen the fine print, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. But on all of those sponsor streams that I saw, 2 of them to be clear, they couldn't have a camera over the game. They didn't have. I don't know if they couldn't. I shouldn't say that. They didn't have gameplay over the camera, and they didn't have any graphics over any of the stream. It was literally just the game. And like one of them was Dan, right? And Dan streams with the camera and has graphics and notifications on his stream. So I wonder if that was part of like Konami's sponsored portion is do not block any of our beautiful, amazing running game. Right. I don't
Roll
know.
that beautiful Kojima footage.
Yeah. Or not Konami. Sorry. I guess that would be Kojima. Sorry. A different Cohh. There's too many Cohhs. We've got this guy, and we've got 2. It's too much.
Fake Cohh.
Yeah, it's true. Somewhere out there. I hope he's okay. We haven't heard from him in months. So that's kind of a weird thing. But I'm curious. I think a lot of people are as well. I want to see that game get like, I guess, cheats in it or hacks in it to where you can like break the weight limit and just see like what you can do in that game already is ridiculous in terms of just walking around. I just want to see a shit ton of boxes on a car or on a person, or the main character no longer being Norman Reedus and just being something absolutely ridiculous. I'd love to see all that stuff. It'd be great.
I do have some very bad news, by the
Uh-oh.
way, about this. Get a little bit real here.
Okay.
Our friend Man Fights Dragon, Lance McDonald, who is known for hacking these games,
Yeah.
he got a camera mode working,
Oh,
and it
God.
turns out that even if you move the camera around, there is no Norman penis.
Really? They didn't model it. It's not in there in the shower, so they
Oh,
lied
He
to
Rita's
us.
doesn't
penis?
even actually unzip his pants.
Wow. Wait, it all? So it's just the anim. Okay. So we've been lied to.
Mm.
It's a tough pill to swallow, you know. We were just straight up lied to for however long we played that game, 50, 60 hours, whatever it was.
I wonder if the Rita's penis is like the Ark of the Covenant. Like you can only see it once, and then your head melts or something.
Maybe.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's
Maybe
so glorious. It's filled with God's power, and you see it, and you're just like, it's too beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe Kojima's doing us a favor. He's protecting us, really.
Might be right. Yeah, possibly. It 100% might be right.
By the way, I was looking around and I made this just in case, like we need to.
Oh, it's backwards. They got your camera flipped. What does
Oh
it say?
shit! Can my camera flip? Damn it! Well, that's not gonna work.
Here, we'll flip your camera and ruin everything. It's flipped.
Okay.
Nothing's ruined.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah.
Anytime I can just wear this,
Yeah,
just in case people want to, know what's going on. We don't have to interrupt our conversation.
exactly. Yeah.
Well played, Zeke.
Exactly. Mike Shinoda will be here for the last hour of the show. We're going to be doing our normal show till then. Here's some stuff. Cohh, you're always asking about Skull and Bones. I think you probably had the most interest in that game out of the three of us. Have you heard what the rumor is about Skull and Bones?
I did. It's a two-parter.
Yeah.
So the first one is cool. They're actually going to make it. That's awesome. And the second part is, oh, it's going to be a live service.
Yeah.
So as we've kind of learned, live services don't necessarily need to be bad. Like there are some decent ones out there. But unfortunately, most of them aren't great.
Yeah.
And the really unfortunate part of games as a live service is that a lot of times developers will abuse that concept to basically just mean like near permanent early access. So there's when I think that's a big thing, unfortunately, is that a lot of times like games as a service or a live service just means we're going to give you less content up front and we might put more in over time.
Yeah.
The track record's not great with the industry with that term. So it works sometimes, Destiny 2 being a great example, but not all the time.
Well, I also feel like a successful games as live service, they don't refer to themselves as live services. That's like the first step to being a successful
PoE,
one.
Warframe. Yep.
They don't mention
like
that.
those are like PoE and Warframe constantly putting out updates, constantly putting out content. Like they're great examples of games that actually are live services. I mean, hell, Warframe's got a huge update right around the corner.
Yeah.
So, and PoE every 3 months we get a brand new big thing. But yeah, it's always a little concerning when that's like a marketing term with a game. Then it becomes a trait instead of just something they do.
Yeah.
And that can be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see how that goes. The idea of kind of a always on pirate simulator type deal might be kind of fun depending on how they spin that. But I kind of agree with what Cohh said. Like a lot of times they launch that stuff with the bare minimum and then take years to actually turn it into something useful. So
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just another form of early access that they want to charge more money for, essentially.
Right. Exactly. I'm just kind of scrolling through the news. Did either of you guys watch that Jeff Keighley Valve thing the app that is really just a way to put like a documentary into it? I haven't watched it yet. Apparently there's a bunch of like Valve and Half-Life canceled games that came out of there. But I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently. It's just that's a weird way of presenting, I think, like a game documentary in this day and age, is putting out a storytelling app on Steam for $10. It's just an odd thing. I have no other information about it because I've not watched it. I just think it's a little bit weird. I think that's it kind of in the news world. Everything happened over the weekend. We covered that stuff live.
Now, hold on a second. Going back to that.
Yeah.
Explain that app again.
Let me open up. I don't want to mischaracterize what it actually is.
Okay.
The final hours of Half-Life Alyx Steam. So the way that this is presented is it's $10, and it says the final hours of Half-Life Alyx is an interactive storybook written by Jeff Keighley that takes fans inside Valve Software to chronicle the company's past decade of game development, including the return of Half-Life. So there you go.
Okay.
451 reviews, all positive on Steam. $10 if you want to grab it. I don't know how long or how much actual content there is in it. Let's see if any of the reviews said. Nope, they all just say it's good.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's an interesting way, I guess, to present that stuff. But having not seen it, I can't actually speak about it at all, apart from what I just read in terms of the blurb. So that's that. I guess drop frames news. We were kicking around the idea. Are we committed to this if I say it on the show about our golfing adventures that we want to do?
Let's do it, man.
All right.
I'm totally down, man.
Okay. We kind of joked about it when we watched a trailer of, well, let me get the name right. Is it PGA Tour 2K21? Comes out on August 21st. So I think we're going to do a drop frames games and I don't know any golfing terms. Is it 9 holes? Is that half of
We're going to
half a
hit
round?
the links, JP.
Is that half a round? Because 18 holes is a full course, right?
We're going to hit the double links?
Nah, I mean, we'll see. Like, if,
9 is half.
I don't know how the turns go or whatever. I don't know if they, if you can just play your hole at the same time as anybody else and you don't have to, wait for who's ever further away to hit their ball or whatever. I don't know if they do that.
Yeah.
But I bet we could fit in 18 if I don't know how the set how fucking intricate the mechanics are.
A round of golf, just to play in general, is that's that's a full afternoon, I think. So I don't know if we can condense it down to 3 hours, but we got a month and a half to figure it out. We got a little more than 30 days to figure it out. So we'll mess around with that.
You do take
August.
turns.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
And for the record, this is not a sponsored thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Let's
that.
be very clear. We're not sponsored for this. We just want to
Yeah.
play golf.
We're just playing some golf.
We made a
for a
joke,
drop
and then I
frames
asked
game.
the guys, "Hey, do you guys really want to do this?" And they're like, "Yeah, I guess we could do that. That'd be fine." So I think that'll be when that game launches, which is the 20th, on August 20th. On the 21st of that week, we'll play some golf. See how it goes. Will you guys wear golf attire? I'll go get a polo shirt. You know.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm gonna get one of those little beanie things with the little poof on it.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
What do you call what is it called, a golf cap where it's just like the visor and then it wraps around, but there's no top? You guys know what I'm talking about? What is that a golf?
Oh, like an old timey,
So you
like
can get
a
some
poker
sun on your
dealer.
bald spot.
Yeah. Sun. You get some sun on your bald spot. Yeah. I don't know what that's called. Is that just a visor?
Just a visor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we got to get a visor.
No, I'll show up dressed like Happy Gilmore, dude. I'm looking like a hockey jersey on and some baggy pants.
Yeah, you should. It'll be fun. We'll have some fun with it. All right, well, let's talk about the games that we've been playing, because I think we've all kind of been playing our own stuff. Zeke, I tuned into your stream for about 5 minutes, and I thought you were dropping frames. But turns out that's just actually the game that you're playing with Deadly Premonition 2. I don't even know how to talk. Should we shit on this game? Should we praise this game? Where are we at with Deadly Premonition 2?
No, if let's talk honestly about it. Let's absolutely talk honestly about it. I am fully fine with that.
All right.
The creator, the main creator behind the game, Swery65 or just Swery, SWERY,
right.
Who has created, who did the first Deadly Premonition. He did The Missing. He did Dark Dreams Don't Die. I think that's what it is. It's D. Most people just say D4.
Yeah.
But his style is fantastic. I love his style. I love the ridiculousness ridiculousness of it, the absurdity, any game that has a bunch of what the fuck moments, like what is going on? Why would you do this? Why is this character talking like this? And then there's no real explanation. Oh, can you cut off?
Oh,
this?
yeah. I got you.
Change some stuff.
I got you.
But I love that. I love not knowing. I love watching chat just go like, I don't know what's happening. Or someone come in and go like, hey, my first time tuning in this game. What's going on? And chat's like,
take a seat.
No, like you get different answers from everybody. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And most of the answers are like, we don't know either. Just buckle up, you know? However.
Oh God.
A lot of people have come in and they're asking the right question. How in the fucking hell did this game ship like this?
Holy shit, man.
How?
This is worse than I saw.
Wow.
This is
No, it's okay. Here's the thing. You're seeing it at its worst. Yes. You can, and I did eventually, power off my Switch, power it back on again. And it goes from 10 to 15 though. Like it doesn't get like that much better. It's noticeably different, but it is still completely unacceptable in the form that it is now. The reason why I'm continuing playing this game, and I try to look up so like it doesn't bother like yeah. The reason why I'm still playing this game is because when you're inside of a building or you're inside of a instance or a dungeon, so to speak.
Yeah.
It goes back to like 25-ish FPS, which is totally playable. It's console playable. But in the overworld, it is disgustingly bad. If you bought this game and you saw this and you put it down, I will say fast travel is unlocked pretty quickly through doing the main quest. If you do the main story, you'll get fast travel, and it makes it better, but it doesn't. It's still I can't recommend this game. I would not recommend this game in its current state because it is awful, FPS wise in the overworld.
Yeah.
But I try and spend as little time as possible out there skateboarding around. But there are missions that happen out in the overworld that you have to, like this last mission I did before I ended my stream yesterday was I had to follow something, and I had to follow it for a while and in the overworld, and it's not fun to have to explain that every time.
Yeah.
And explain why you're playing it. One of the other reasons why I keep playing it is because it's still a sweary game and it is fucking hilarious. The dialogue, the voice acting in this game is, and I am not being facetious about this, it is top fucking notch. The voice acting is so goddamn good in this game. I'm not being sarcastic or anything. It's really, really good. Like the characters, it takes place in Louisiana, and some of the characters have like a perfect, like deep South Louisiana accent. There's one character in particular, Chuck, who I love hearing him talk because he has a voice like this when he always talks like that, and he's a crawfish farmer, and it doesn't sound exaggerated. It sounds perfect, and I love it. And the lines, the visuals you get are very sweary. Like they're like you a dude's head, you open it up, there's cottage cheese inside. This doesn't actually happen.
Okay.
But like it's stuff like that. You're like, why is there cottage cheese in this guy's skull? It's like, because it's a sweary game and I love it. There's a lot of that. A lot of what the fuck shit in the game, and I absolutely adore it. Some of the storylines are outlandish, like take some of the weirder like Yakuza side quests. There's a lot, and they go further. The story it's convoluted to say the least, but you don't mind if you go into it knowing what kind of what kind of a game or if you've played Deadly Premonition 1, this one just takes it just a bit further, and you're along for the ride, pretty much. This is the fast travel. I unlocked the fast travel. That's the...
Oh,
it's
she's
called
the
Wyvern.
fast travel? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Wyvern, but it's basically Uber.
Ah.
This game takes place before and after Deadly Premonition 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there's like there's like, this isn't a spoiler or anything. It's right off the top. You see old man Morgan, the main character, the FBI agent.
Yeah.
You see him as an old man, and then he remembers this case that happened before the Greenvale case, which is Deadly Premonition 1.
Gotcha.
So it jumps in time a little bit.
So this is the true detective of video games, is what you're saying. Season one, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And season 3.
Yes, correct. True.
Yeah. But the dialogue the script is great. The dialogue's great. The voice acting's awesome. The FPS is fucking atrocious. The graphics, even for a console, I was like, this looks like 2 gens ago. I'm wondering, like, did he not get enough funding, or what's going on? I'm really curious. And I think someone may have said, like, it was an artistic choice to keep it like lower quality graphics or something.
Sure.
Which, artists, man, they don't have to explain themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted it that way because that's the way I want it. It looks better.
Well, I mean, I think too the fascination, I guess, with the first one wasn't because it was a technical masterpiece, right? Like, it had issues when it initially came out. And I think that from a developer,
those issues continued.
Yeah, exactly. And from a developer's point of view, they potentially maybe know their fan base, and so they know their fan base will kind of get through awful FPS to see what the hell this game is, which is maybe a little bit unfortunate that they abuse that relationship with their fans, but you're still playing it, right? Like you in Zeke, and I think many others are as well. So yeah. I also saw they put out like a statement saying that there are still patches are coming or something like that, right?
I hope.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope.
Yeah. And Squarey, the
thing,
guy that made it, apologized as well.
Okay. Gotcha.
The thing that I want to get across is I can deal with lower quality graphics. I can deal with a low budget. I can deal with glitches happening, like clipping through things, collision not working as proper as it should, yada yada yada. But it needs to function properly. And with this FPS, there are certain, like, not only like does it look terrible, but it affects how the game is played. Meaning there are button presses that go missed because it happens in between, like when a frame is dropping.
Yeah.
FPS is dropping. So you shoot the gun, but the gun doesn't shoot because it happened in between the frames. You try to adjust the strength meter when you're bowling, and it doesn't do it right because it's framey. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I can deal with bad graphics. I can deal with bad voice acting. I can deal with a weird script. But if your game doesn't function, that's a problem. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, all of that aside, you said the story's good. You're enjoying it. It's more Deadly Premonition. More Twin Peaksy.
Yes, even more like the first game was very much Twin Peaks. It was like there was representations of a lot of your favorite, like Log Lady was in it, but she was like a pot. She had a soup pot or something.
Yeah.
He talks to Zach, who is basically Diane. There's a lot of that shit. However, this one doesn't have. The story doesn't. Well, it's hard for me to say that because I do a lot of fucking around. So I was gonna say the story doesn't reveal itself as fast as I would like. You don't get to the main chunks of it because there's these fetch quest stuff that you have to do. But once you're in it, it's fantastic. It's weird, it's wild, it's Twin Peaks, but a sprinkle in some fucking crazy madness. Yeah.
All right.
Just for instance, just for example, you go to a bar, it's a jazz club, and the bartender, big muscular dude, wearing nothing but tighty whities, and it's
Sure.
barely ever talked about. You doesn't even talk, and he has this weird speech pattern where after most of his sentences he goes, yeah. No explanation.
Wait, hold on.
No explanation for the underwear.
This takes place in Louisiana, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. No explanation. I don't need an explanation.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't either. It's great.
I've been there, you know?
Yeah.
Checks out. Yeah.
But I mean, it's what it does really, really well. But fix yo shit is all I gotta say.
Are you skipping rock? Is this a mini game? Do you get anything from skipping these rocks?
Yes, you do.
Oh God. Okay.
There's mini games. Let's see. The mini games I've come across so far: skipping stones,
Okay.
bowling,
Okay.
skateboarding.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, he skateboards around in this game. He just it's talked about at the beginning, but not why.
I mean,
He's
it's a great way
I
to get
skateboard
around.
now. Yeah, I skateboard now, and everybody's like, "Oh, all right, right on. Okay, you're an FBI agent who skateboards. We don't need to talk about any further than that." But there's a skateboarding mini game, and there's a airboat mini game, and I'm guessing there's probably a few more that I haven't
Jesus.
gotten to yet. Punching bees.
Yeah, we're seeing some actual gameplay here in terms of the second to second. You're punching some bees.
Yep, I have to kill 30 bees for a side quest. And the best way to do it is to punch the bees, destroy their hive, come back a little bit later, and it has respawned, rinse and repeat. There's 3 beehives here, and I do this until I have 30 bees.
30 bees?
killed.
What the?
Well, 30 swarms killed.
Okay.
Yep. You can skateboard anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's grass or gravel or mountain or whatever. You except on the water. You can't skate on the water. We learned that from Back to the Future 2. You need more power.
Of course.
Yeah, God, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, and don't worry, if you see me shooting anything in the game, it's all rubber bullets. They make a point.
Really?
Say, like, everything you shoot is rubber bullets. Yeah. So, I'm guessing everything just gets knocked out or hurt and lives afterwards.
Huh.
Except that when you, like,
Kind of
shoot
topical.
squirrels or rabid dogs or whatever, you get their, like, fur and their tail and stuff. So, I'm guessing there's a humane way
Jeez.
of taking the fur and tail off of a dog.
What do you use the fur and tail of a dog for?
Oh, ingredients. Duh.
I'm just curious. What
JP.
are you crafting?
Voodoo dolls and voodoo necklaces.
Ah.
Duh.
And what? Okay. And what do voodoo dolls and voodoo necklaces give you?
They help you skateboard better. Are you just going to sit here and ask silly questions this whole time? I hope you get better ones for Mike Shinoda when he's on later.
Wait, what is silly here? The questions or the answers? Like, what is going on? How are you gonna?
I don't know.
Oh, tell me you know that if you put a voodoo necklace on, you skateboard better.
This
You
is
know
too
that.
mu-
That's
this
common
is too
knowledge,
much.
right?
It's too much.
Maybe it's just
I
where I'm
mean,
from. I know, like, if I put on a voodoo necklace, I can shoot better, I can skateboard faster, or I don't need to sleep as much.
Yeah, everyone knows that Tony Hawk was only good because he would sacrifice a hawk before every skate, off in the side
Right.
in the green room. You know, that's how he was able to get out there and pull his tricks because he was practicing
Well,
voodoo.
No, like you go, there's a voodoo shop in town, and you go there, you bring your materials, you create these things, and everything before you create it, it'll say like +5 to accuracy with weapons, or +5 to speed on your skateboard.
Weird.
That kind of shit. They're just power ups.
Weird. All right.
Yeah. There's only one sheriff in town.
Oh, this is okay. This is the sheriff.
Yep. His name is Melvin, and he's a character, man. He loves to put everything in like a really shitty movie guy voice, like, in a town of one person, there's an FBI agent, and then he'll say the title really dramatically, Francis York Morgan. That's the main character's full name, but
Jesus.
Everybody has like a personality tick or trait, I guess, that makes them like stand out.
Sure. Well, $50. It's out now. If you want to grab it, Switch only. Don't know if
Don't
it's
get
coming
it
to
until
other
they patch it.
platforms. Yeah, like they said that they are working on patches. Who knows when those will come out and if they'll actually make meaningful changes to it. We'll just have to kind of judge them when they're out. How many hours?
I would really hope so.
Yeah. How many hours you put in, Zeke?
Oh man, that's a good question.
30, 40, something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
Like I'm somewhere between 20 and 30, I'd say.
Okay.
Like actual game, like there's probably like a good 7 or 8 hours of that where it's bowling or skating.
Sure.
Like mini games, because you get into a grudge match. Like there was a skating challenge that took me hour and a half to beat because I kept getting like 5 to 10 points below what I needed for gold, and it was just infuriating.
Yeah. Well.
Now, I want to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
You guys saw the overworld FPS.
Yeah.
Why do you think they thought it was okay to ship it like that?
I mean, I'll restate what I said earlier. Well, what was that, Cohh? You had a quick answer.
Deadlines.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the real reason is they had to get it out because they said they were going to have it out on that date. But I think the fans that are interested in this are pretty forgiving of or accepting of issues with this game because they just want to see what the fuck Swery does and continue the Deadly Premonition stuff. Because like I said, you're still playing it. I'm sure other people are as well.
I wouldn't, if I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm streaming it. It makes it easier to take. And misery loves company kind of thing. Like,
sure.
Complaining about it helps me kind of get through it, you know? But I would be extremely upset if I bought this game for myself and it is what, like, the final product is what that is, and I would be very upset, and it might be a game that I would ask for a refund on.
Dang.
Also, for you said it was $50.
Very rarely do that.
Yeah, $50. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. It's a lot to swallow, for sure. But we'll see what happens when they patch it.
You may have addressed this, but is that game ever coming out on PC?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I know it took a long time for Deadly Premonition 1 to come out, right?
Yeah, it took a pretty. I think that was fairly recent, if I remember. So definitely took a while. We'll just have to see. I don't know. That's Deadly Premonition.
Yeah, Deadly Premonition 1. Oh, that's the original release date was 2013.
Oh, you're looking for the PC port?
Yeah, I was wondering when it actually came to Steam, but sometimes they have the actual release date.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
I know it was recent, so. Anyways, that's Deadly Premonition 2. Don't buy it. I think.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah. Let's swap over to a completely different type of game. You're playing Stranded Deep, a little, I'm safe to say, early access game. Still, maybe done.
Yes, it is not done.
Okay, not done game. A builder of sorts, an early access survival.
Survival game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm seeing you chop down some trees, Cohh. Is that what this game is? Is that
Pretty much.
Have we seen everything?
That's it. Yeah, this game, it's kind of interesting. I've kind of been on this survival kick lately. You know, I did Green Hell, did a very thorough playthrough of Raft. Was very impressed with both of them.
Yeah.
Raft is also a game that's not done yet. It has a second big chapter coming out later this year. Green Hell really surprised me. It was really good, fleshed out, had a great time in that game. So I figured, you know what? I haven't tried Stranded Deep. I had some friends recommend it. Let me see how it is. Stranded Deep is an okay game. Out of all the survival games, it is definitely the least developed. It is fun. I had a good time with it, and it was definitely enjoyable. But it's not quite, I would say, on the same level of the other games. It does kind of have all the components, but the UI is really rough. The kind of the depth of what you can do in the game is a little bit shallow. Um, you're mostly just doing the same thing on every island. There is kind of a loose story, and there's some bosses to kill. And there's not an ending in the actual game, but there is an ending that finally the user base was kind of like, just give us the ending, because apparently the ending's on consoles, but it's not on the PC version. So the devs released
Weird.
an experimental build that has like the last area in it, but from what I've seen, it's extremely rudimentary. Not to really spoil it. I mean, it's barely spoilerable. But it's pretty basic. It's the kind of thing where when I saw it, I was kind of like, I don't really need to see where this is going to go. So yeah, it was a hard okay for me. It does a couple cool things, and it does do what it does pretty well. But it's certainly out of kind of the big group of survival games, and the group of survival games I would say are Subnautica, Green Hell, Forest, Long Dark, Raft, those types of games. It is certainly the least developed of all of them.
Huh. Okay. I would assume event like the goal is to get off the island. That's
Yeah,
the
well, I mean, just like most games this type, it starts with a plane crash,
yeah, sure.
and you're in the middle of nowhere. So the gameplay loop is basically you go to an island, you kind of get all the resources you can. There's wrecks and stuff, and then you kind of build, craft, and survive your way to go to the next island, and then you do the same thing there, and you just kind of bounce between the islands while you do that. It is important to mention that it is small group co-op. So if you are somebody that wants to play with friends, I'm sure you could have a lot of fun, like playing with buddies and surviving and things like that. But like I said, the lack of kind of depth, tied in with the fact that like hitboxes are super wonky in combat.
Huh.
There are some bosses, but they're kind of like they're pretty, again, basic and simple. There's just not a lot of meat to the game outside of kind of the basic mechanics.
Hmm. All right. Do you know what this game cost, or do I need to look it up? Let's see.
I don't offhand. Let me take a quick look.
Yeah, I can get it pulled up here.
It is
$15.
$15. So, I mean, for what it is, I think the price is right about on point. I mean, I did get a solid, 10 to 15ish hours out of it, and I did enjoy it. It's a good game. It's an okay game. It's just like I said on stream multiple times. If you would give me the choice between this game or like the other big five in this genre, I would definitely pick any of the big five over this game.
Yeah. A bunch of people in chat as well as this team came out in 2015. So have they just like
Yeah.
is this done? Have they just stopped working on it, or like,
I mean, the fact that the progress that's been made in the time that it's been out, there's arguably, they're not definitely working on it as hard as they could be, I would
Sure.
say, especially
Yeah.
considering like the fact that they put from the sounds of what I've seen, they really put the experimental ending in the game just because people basically demanded it. So yeah, it doesn't seem, it may have some updates coming. I don't know the update plan, but I will say that I'd be surprised, especially at the rate, the length it's been under development, if there's anything like really big coming down the pipeline.
All right. Well, that's Stranded Deep.
Mhm.
Survival games are weird, man. I'm trying to think of the last like survival game that I played. Does Terraria count as a survival game?
In a way, I'd say,
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
especially like on the harder difficulties.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of maybe like the fully 3D realized one. I guess maybe the Forest.
The
I don't know.
Yeah, Forest, Subnautica, Long Dark,
That's true.
Raft. The kind of first person games where you have to manage your character a lot more than normal. Um, like Terraria, I'd say you don't really have to do food or water, and it's side scrolling. So Terraria is more of like an adventure exploration game,
That's true.
where the survival games are kind of the ones where you have to kind of just keep your character alive is a big part of it, via like things that are constantly going down or fighting you.
Yeah. What was the last? Just talking about survival games in general. What was the last big like iterative game that came out for it that had like a big push forward in terms of like moving the genre forward, if you could think. I feel like they've all just kind of been same is what I'm getting at by that statement. So I'm curious if I'm just dead wrong in that.
Well, the kind of the attraction on them is putting their own spin on it. So, Subnautica has the undersea thing, which is really cool. Long Dark has the very exhaustive temperature management systems. Green Hell does a great job of really like breaking down your nutritional values. It has one of the more in-depth injury systems where you have to actually like look at your limbs and then apply different bandages and splints and things to kind of keep yourself going. It really is kind of taking that basic formula and then just putting a spin on it that's interesting enough to be new and engaging. So yeah, and honestly, now that I say that, I'd say one of the biggest issues with Stranded Deep is that it doesn't really do that. Like there's nothing in Stranded Deep that really sets it apart. It almost everything it does, other games do in some way or another. There's nothing that kind of like really makes it unique.
Sure.
So, yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. Well, cool. That's Stranded Deep. $15 on Steam. I real quick. I'm not going to show any footage of it because it's super spoilery in terms of any of the final semester. Finished Persona 5. It's good. You need to play the game. Probably I think it's worthwhile. Is it worthwhile? That's the question I got. Is it worthwhile if you've already played the base game? Seeing if the ending is what I saw in terms of the base game ending, I think that I feel a lot happier with where the game ends with like the Royale content. Is that worth another, 130 hour, 140 hour playthrough? If you've got the time, sure. I think that's maybe my number one thing to say about that game is Persona 5 is a great game if you have the time. Because it is a very long game. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't do anything like, I think Zeke, I was watching you once and you kind of nailed it right on the head. It stays in one mode just long enough to where you start thinking like, man, I really wish I could do something else. And then you go start fighting dungeons, or you start going and doing like the social experiments and all that type of stuff, or you go and level up your personas or whatever. So it kind of stays in one facet of the game for just long enough to where you don't really get bored or tired of it. But yeah, ending was great. I loved everything about it. Definitely goes on. Like they wrap that game up. They cover all the bases in both normal gameplay stuff and anime cutscenes and like the weird in-game cutscene things. There's 3 different types of storytelling cutscenes that they do in that game, which is a little awkward. But it's great. It's got one of my favorite. Have you seen that Twitter like it's like one shot or the like one movie shot or something like that, and it's famous
one perfect shot or whatever.
One perfect shot or one perfect frame or something like that. It's got like one of my now favorite one perfect shots in gaming for sure. Where it just everything kind of stops and it relies on the player to do something. And if you don't do anything, you have like fucking badass Persona 5 music blaring and like a really cool shot of what's in front of you. I can't say it's super spoilery. And you just kind of sit there and like listen to the music until you do a thing. And then you do the thing and it gets better. So really enjoyed that. I didn't go into the Thief Den stuff at all, which is some Persona 5 that you unlock very, very early on, which is kind of like I guess you could say it's kind of like an encyclopedia of the game. Like when you do stuff in the game, it unlocks more things for you to do in Thieves Den, as my understanding of it. I didn't mess with it at all. It seemed like there'd be a lot more gameplay. When I already had a lot of gameplay, I didn't want to get involved in it. I also think it takes like 2 playthroughs to fully round that out. But I was only 2 trophies off of of platinuming the game. And they were pretty easy trophies to get. One was like going to the maid cafe, which I guess never did. I don't know if you guys did that. Like getting the special maid reward or something like that. You have to go and get a bunch of stamps. I don't know. I didn't do it. And then I think the other one was just getting all the trophies because I was at like 97% complete or something. So it's really good. It's great. It's a perfect game. Not a perfect game. It's a perfect game for me, I think.
Can I ask you, Who is your favorite NPC? And if you can't, don't tell me if it's spoilery.
I can't tell you if it's yeah, it's spoilery.
You can't. Okay. Okay.
I will the main the vanilla game that you guys played, the quote bad guy, big bad, whatever you want to say, pales in comparison to the like big bad antagonist in Royale. Like it is a fully fleshed out character that is the best type of villains where you actually sympathize with the villain and you're like, well, maybe I totally see what you're doing, but maybe you're going about it in like not the best, but I would be on your side if we were playing from your perspective, man. Like it's that type of character. And they do a great job of making you empathize and sympathize with them for sure. But yeah, I can't answer that question without spoiling it.
Cool.
In terms of like character that I got to play,
yeah.
In terms of like usefulness in fights,
I don't care about that. I care about who you like as that character.
I like it.
I'm trying to think. That's a hard one. I do know that I never, ever, not even a single move used Haru. I never used Haru for a singular attack or move or anything like that in any of the fights.
Oh, you didn't use her at all?
For real?
I didn't use her at all whatsoever.
For real?
For real. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was the running gag in the chat is anytime she would like pop up in a cutscene, I'd be like, who the fuck is this person?
I love those things. The Persona games are rife.
Yeah.
With just making your kind of own like
memes,
personality traits, making them up and storylines they have.
Yeah.
Like P4, like always forgetting that he had a daughter and what her name was.
Exactly.
Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is talking? Who is this?
To be fair, I used her once in a few attempts versus Okamura, which is, that if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. If not, you don't. But I don't think I used her in the actual like kill attempt. So I still count her as never being used.
Not in that timeline.
Yeah, not in that timeline, exactly. Maybe in another timeline, I was a super Haru fan. I was told that she's actually like pretty strong. She's kind of like Glass Tanky. Or Glass Cannony, sorry, not Tanky. Where she's really strong.
That's the worst kind of thing.
Yeah. Where she does a lot of damage and doesn't take that much. I don't know, man. I like them all. Like, I thought An was pretty cool. She was actually the one. She ended up like being the one that I dated. I didn't date anyone else.
That was my next question, of course.
Yeah.
Did you go for harem ending or did you go for single?
It was single.
Like single focus? Or
yeah.
no? Oh, you did have one though.
It was single focus. It was on, yeah. God, I don't know who my favorite NPC was. Morgana's character arc was really good, especially in the Royal content, which is really weird to say because they're kind of annoying the base game for a while. But
you really missed out on that, on the juiciness of Morgana's annoyingness, because I heard they took a lot of that shit out.
Yeah, like they don't force you to sleep all that much. It only happens on a couple cutscenes now, or in a couple like specific instances throughout the months.
And you didn't play Persona. You played a fucking watered down goddamn baby version of it.
Yeah. Makoto was cool. Like they're all really fun characters. But I guess in terms of character arc, I think Morgana was probably my favorite. They do some in the Royale content. They do a lot of things where you sit in between like being really upset with them, but like of course that happens, and like that's just absurd, and it's the most Persona-y thing that can actually occur type thing. And so that was kind of cool. Yeah, Chad points out I actually really liked Yusuke. Like I started hating Yusuke, and then I brought him into my party, and I was like, this Yusuke guy's kind of good. Like he's pretty strong. But then at the very end of the game, he got benched for Ryuji because there's a thing that you get for all of the characters that changes things. So in Royale, I guess I could say this. In Royale, at the very beginning, all the personas have traits associated with them. And traits are kind of like Well, you have skills. You have like your active skills. These are kind of like passive skills, right? And Ryuji's passive skill on his persona is any physical persona damage has a chance to do 40% more physical damage just randomly. And that gets upgraded throughout the course of the game up to 80%. And because I was using Yoshitsune, who did the like 8 light damage attack things, if it procced, we were doing like 13 or 14,000 damage in a single attack if it crit at the end of the game. So like,
My lord,
they were pretty useful to have in the party, with Ryuji being in the party. I will also say difficulty wise, I talked about it last time when I was in, when we did like the vanilla boss, the final boss, we 3-rounded that boss. I think I 4 or 5-rounded the final boss of Royale doing the very same shit. So pretty easy to break that game if you want to. Did you guys get Lucifer as a persona in your games?
I didn't know.
Yeah, like I
may have. I'm not sure.
Chat told me how to get like all the best personas essentially. So I had like level 99 Lucifer with like Spellmaster on him. So he had 75% less SP usage on like every one of his attacks with amps and all. Like he was just broken as fuck. I think he had like 87 or 88 magic on him. So you just go into a fight and just murder people. It definitely, if you want to min max that game, you can min max the shit out of that game, and it gets very easy, very quick. They put in, I guess the Jazz Club wasn't in the base game, so you can go to the Jazz Club and invite someone to come along with you. And depending on the day, certain things will happen. They'll either get just like character stats or they'll get a skill. And in Royale, if you take them on a certain date, they get Spellmaster. So you can take like any one of your characters and just give them 75% less SP usage for any spells that they have. And you can just break. Like on, she had an amulet that gave her 50% fire damage and 2 skills, an amp and whatever the other one for 25 and 50%. And she was just hitting for like astronomical amounts of damage. Just crazy damage. Like, 1,400, 1,500 fire in one attack. So definitely you can break characters out of that game. So it was good. I highly recommend it if you've got time to go. And I wish I could show it, but if you see one frame of the Royale content after the base game kind of finishes, it's super spoiler territory. And it's really cool how they fold it into the main game. So it's worth it. It's good stuff. Oh yeah, and the soundtrack was the Royale music. It's not chat is the song I Believe, is that Royale only? Because that is my favorite song within the game. Okay, so yeah. The one song or one of the songs that they added is my favorite track of the entire game. In a game that is filled with phenomenal music across the board. They did what I love so much about Final Fantasy XIV, where they tied cutscene events to the music. And I think when those two things meet up in some sort of harmony, it always lands well with me. That's a huge thing that I'm really into when games do that. And they did that in Persona 5 Royale, and it was awesome. It was great. They timed it with the chorus hitting, and you're just like, this is the fucking greatest thing of all time.
Oh god, now I'm hearing Persona 5 music in my head.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
Oh, damn it.
It's
You only have to mention it.
It's really good.
Did you play you played P4, right, JP?
I played yes, but it's been a very long time.
Okay.
And I watched you play some of it, so I refresh my memory.
Do you still listen to the music?
Not from P4. I've been listening to P5 music a lot, for sure. Specifically that one track I was mentioning.
Well, I'm just curious if how you think it stacks up comparatively, P5 and P4, because that's one of the most hotly debated not hotly, but you know what I mean. It's one of the things that people talk about. What do you like more, the P4 or the P5 soundtrack? And I'm fully in the P5 camp. I think funk of it is just.
I think P5 is just
appealing.
A better produced game because they had so much more money across the board, and so the music for me it's just better music. To just look at P4 and look at P5 critically and compare those songs, I think it's just better made music, in my opinion. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Not saying P4 music is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's super fucking catchy, but P5 just like oozes with style, and they very much know what they're doing with that game. And I think with P4 they just didn't have the ability to do so because they were hampered somewhat by hardware and also hampered by money. Like Atlas is a much bigger company than they were back then, so they were able to put more funds into Persona 5, whereas Persona 4 was, whenever that came out, 2000, that was in the 2005, 2006, something like that, maybe. It came out for the Golden was the Vita. I don't know when the first one shipped for PS2, but it's just an older game. So I think 2008, according to chat. I should also note, since you guys aren't aware, they changed the battle music in Persona 5 Royale. You never see it coming; it's still there. But when you ambush someone, it's new music. So you very rarely hear. You never see it coming.
That's what they did in P4.
Yeah, you can also listen. You can listen to that music in P5. By the way, sorry to interrupt. With costumes, they have costumes from like every other fucking game. You can just wear those costumes, and it plays the old music. So. They also have like, your standard beach fair music or not music, but your standard swimsuit nonsense. And it goes the whole,
the Halloween outfit, the cheerleader's outfit. Yeah. The active wear. Yeah.
It runs the gambit with that type of shit. So yeah, that's Persona 5 Royale. I clocked in 150, we'll round up 158 hours, for a playthrough. So, and that's reading everything out loud that wasn't voiced. And getting all the social links to max. So definitely took time with it, but didn't get anywhere near to like 100%ing that game. And it was still a shit ton of fucking content. So hell of a thing. It's been on sale a couple times this past month, I think for $40 or maybe $30 at a couple places. So if you're looking to grab it for your cheap or discounted, you definitely can. You can definitely find it. It's good. Cohh, how are you liking Anno?
You're making me wish.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Just final thought. You make me wish that I waited until P5R to play it, because you look at Mount Everest and you're like, I'm gonna climb that. Climb it. You come back down. And they're like, we added more to Mount Everest. You got to climb it again though. It's like, but I already climbed. Like. No. There's a different path.
Yeah.
All the way up the mountain.
And it's better.
Sadly puts on boots. Okay.
Yeah. Somehow it's better. Somehow the sun is in a better location. You can get amazing views.
Yeah.
There's less clouds.
You once you get to the top and just float down from there. Like, don't you want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I would, with how well Golden's doing, Persona 4 Golden's doing on PC, there's no doubt in my mind that game will eventually come to PC, unless Sony has some sort of like exclusivity contract with it in terms of it only existing on PlayStation. Like that, they've already sold 500,000 copies or something like that of Persona 4 Golden on PC. So I would think that it has to come to PC just with that success alone. But we'll see. Who knows? That might be years from now. So. I would say if you want to play it. It runs fine. It's fine. It works as intended. There's no like, you're not going to get better FPS on a PC compared to or you're not going to get more out of the game, I should say. Of course you'll get better FPS. You're not going to get more out of the game technically from that standpoint compared like PS4 to PC. So it's good. It's worth it. I recommend it. And if you got Zeke, you kind of like, the thing is games are starting to come out again somewhat. So it just depends if you like want to take a month off from everything else and play Persona. I mean, you know how it is. You've played both of them before on stream. So you know how it goes without a doubt. Yeah. There is no one in that category though, if that changes your mind at all. I was by myself in the Persona 5 Royale content. So it's pretty easy to just sit on the top. Cohh, you played some Anno. This is one of my favorite offline games. How was that? This is a rather short stream. Did you? Oh, okay. This is just for whatever reason.
No, I'm playing more tonight too.
Okay.
It's Anno has basically become my cozy game. So the game that I just kind of turn on and play in the evenings, generally between like 6:30 and 9:30.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of revisit it because when I played it the first time, I really enjoyed it. There were a couple big problems I had with it that have since been kind of not really fixed but added. And also, I haven't done any of the DLC. So I've started up a new Anno 1800 playthrough. I'm planning on probably taking that into the end game and kind of seeing how the new
God.
DLC is, seeing how the new content is, and going from there.
Have you seen the DLC yet? Like, I don't know if I've talked about it on stream, but I don't necessarily want to spoiler it. Can you spoil this game? I don't, what have you seen and what do you care that I talk about? I guess is how I'll phrase
Nothing
it.
really yet.
Okay.
I'm still working through the main campaign, and then when you get to the end of that, it goes into sandbox mode. So I haven't really seen or done anything. I know there's a Sunken Treasure DLC, and like we just got the Bright Sands, maybe Bright Fields DLC.
Okay.
But I really haven't seen anything yet. I'm just kind of working through and relearning the game, and doing all that kind of stuff right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hell of a game.
Yeah, I think when I played last time, there was a little bit of the DLC, and I've heard you talk about it in the past, but the big brunt of it, I haven't even touched yet.
In some ways, in a game that can very quickly get overwhelming, I feel it gets very overwhelming. At least maybe it's different in the main campaign. We were playing like just a sandbox multiplayer thing. It got unbelievably overwhelming in just like an instant. When you start seeing some of this other new shit that they put into it. It seems if you're the type of person that looks at a Sim City and is like, I'm bored or I don't have enough to do, this game gives you so much shit to do very, very quickly if you want to do it. So much so that I feel like it's impossible to pay attention to a lot of things. You just kind of forget that certain things exist for hours, and then you go back to it's like, oh fuck, right, I have this entire thing that I need to keep in mind of. So it's a great game to just lose hours in, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Did you I guess you just started, so you're nowhere near tier 4, right?
No, I just got tier 2, and I'm starting to working on balancing that and all sorts of things. If you remember this part, I just blew up the wall down there in the right to get iron.
Yeah.
And kind of working through there and get all that stuff going.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. If you're going to keep playing it, I'm curious to see your thoughts on kind of the DLC stuff, because it was awesome, but it was also just, I was so fucking overwhelmed. And we were playing the type of thing where it was me and Max were playing like the same city, and so we were able to separate or delegate different things. And even with 2 people playing one city, there was so much stuff going on. So we'll definitely we'll touch base with you next week on it and see where Anno's at. Let's see what else. Zeke, what about you? It's been Deadly Premonition kind of nonstop, right?
Yeah, pretty much. However, offline, I've been playing Last of Us 2.
How's that going?
Ooh.
Without going into it,
Okay.
I can say I understand some people's frustration.
Now, hold on.
I, however, am not in that camp.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's classify
I
that.
love it.
Okay, you're
love
into
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of figured you would be. I don't know. You were pretty up on the first one. I guess everyone was. So that's a bad way to lead into that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's hard to talk. I mean, talk around what's going on and spoilers and stuff like that. But like, I just wanted to say like, yes, I understand why people might be a little upset. I, however, am like, more.
Yeah. How many hours do you have in the game? I guess is maybe a way that I can judge to see where you're at.
If I said what day I'm on, would that help? Because
maybe?
they start out
not really, because it can be ambiguous.
But they start out like one of the first things is it says Seattle day 1, right? So there's going to be more than that, like more days than that.
So okay, we should stop talking about this, because with you saying that, I don't think you've actually gotten to the big kerfluffle point yet. We'll check in with that.
No, maybe I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think you're that far.
Okay.
What day are you at in Seattle?
3.
We'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Okay.
I don't
Good
want
call.
to say
Good
anything
decision.
else. Yeah.
No, yeah. Asking me how many hours I'm in a game is misleading.
Sure.
Because
I mean, I can do the math for Zeke time for sure. I've grown
something
accustomed to it.
I absolutely like. There's a love-hate relationship in The Last of Us with collecting stuff. It's just I'm so meticulous about it, and I still feel like I'm like I didn't explore that corner very well.
Yeah.
I didn't see a prompt. I'm gonna go back to that corner again and explore it again. God damn it! I want to get all the cards and the notes and everything.
What difficulty are you playing? Normal or?
I'm playing on the hardest one, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, then okay. You're doing yourself a
brutal.
service then doing that. I think both Cohh and I can attest to if you're not like getting literally everything in every fucking level, that game's infinitely harder.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, is it.
You'll walk into fights with a bullet and be like, all right, kill 30 zombies. Good luck, man.
Can you just
like, fuck.
scoot over so I can get 3 of you? There we go.
Yeah.
I really need to make this bullet like economically viable.
Yeah. Yeah. I fully expect you in the next couple, whenever you return to it, I fully expect you to just tweet something, whether it's good or bad excitement. I fully expect a Zeke tweet of like, what the fuck type thing. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look for
It's
it.
good to know that I haven't gotten there yet and there's still more shit to look forward to. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's a tough game to talk about when you haven't finished it.
Story aside, I don't mind talking about like the mechanics and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, what did you like during your spoiler cast? Like, what did you guys think? Like, I don't mind it. I like how the stealth works. It's tense. I hate maybe I'm just really bad, but there's a couple weapons, or at least 1 or 2 weapons that are fucking useless to me.
Really? What?
I
don't think it's spoiler to say what weapons are useless to you. What weapons are useless to you?
Yeah. Well, the bow, like I can't use the fucking bow.
Oh.
It just seems like and especially on the hardest difficulty where every little material matters.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, I didn't get a fucking headshot, so there's no chance I'm getting that fucking arrow back.
I think the bow was fine. Yeah. The thing is, if you don't get a headshot, all it does, it's just an alarm at that point. If you miss your headshot,
exactly.
But if you're hitting your shots, it's like the greatest way to start out an area because you just get like 2 or 3 free kills without alerting anyone. But
I end up just stealthing everybody with my fucking pocket knife.
Yeah. I mean that's a good way to play for sure. The bow has like
the reason why I say that
it's hard to aim sometimes
because the bow I love the bow in the previous game. I don't know why I'm not loving it in this one. Don't know.
Did Joel never use the bow in the first game, right? It was only an Ellie thing?
But the Ellie parts,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it next week. I want to say something in terms of like the bow stuff, but I don't want to harp on it. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it though. It's the past 2 or 3
Joel
weeks.
had a bow. Okay, there you go.
Oh, did he? I forgot completely that what happened in that first game after all the hoopla that's happened in the past month about the second game. That first game doesn't even exist in my brainscape right now because all the shit that's happened for sure. But it's cool you're enjoying it. We'll definitely talk about it when you wrap it up.
Yep.
But I think you're gonna hit a point and you're just gonna be like, okay, I get it. And then that's when you'll start to understand all the drama, I think, for sure. What else? I played a little bit of Grim Dawn. I know, Cohh, you were curious about this, so I can talk about it for a little bit. I finished the main game on stream. I've been playing mostly offline, but I finished the kind of vanilla Grim Dawn, I guess, as it were, and I'm working my way through the DLCs. It's fine. It's a slower paced ARPG. It's not Path of Exile. It's not Diablo. It's Grim Dawn. Like it. That was probably the number one question I got was like,
it has its own flavor.
Yeah, it's a slower paced ARPG that if you want story, it's there. However, if you play it like I do, you just click the green check mark, so then you go to wherever the next zone is, so then you get items, and then you potentially die like this. Uh, but yeah, the story is there if you want it. And it's actually pretty in depth. And from people, when I streamed it, they actually said it's quite good, as far as like ARPG stories go. So I've been enjoying it. It seems like it's a very large ARPG. That's the map in itself right there, but large in the sense of there's so many different ways to kind of play that game. I'm playing a pet. It's a shaman slash necromancer. You get to choose 2 classes, and you can kind of like make your class from that. But you can dual wield shields and make like a thorns type build. It's called retaliation. And here you can do a bunch of crazy shit. There's so many different items that do so many different things. I just hit level 50 like yesterday. So level 100 is the cap. 50-ish is where you generally finish kind of your first run through the story. And then epic items start dropping. Epic items is kind of, you would suspect, are build defining in a lot of cases, and will kind of push your stuff, push your character to the next level. So I'm kind of starting to get onto that grind. But I'm generally enjoying it. I don't know if it's a filter or if it's an engine that they're using. But I guess in an effort to kind of look a little bit like Diablo 2 back in the day, there's like a graininess to this game, but you're not really seeing here. You can kind of see it in like the text, and I think maybe the text has something to do with it. But in the actual gameplay, it just looks kind of like low res, I guess is how I would discuss it. And that's maybe my biggest gripe with the game. And it might be because I'm super zoomed out, but it doesn't look like I'm playing a 1080p game for whatever reason. And it's hard to, I'm trying to formulate the words to try to express what I'm seeing in my brain and why I don't necessarily like it, but it just doesn't look like clean, I guess. It just looks like they were going for a filter that Diablo 2 invokes, art style wise. And when you're playing like this after a long amount of time, I just want to like see a clean character and not one that has kind of like a film grain on it, is maybe the best way I would say. But it's also a really fucking old game. Or not really fucking old. It came out in 2016, but it's an older game that evokes that older style of games. So that's the best way to say it. But apart from that, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's super fun. I think I've put like 40-ish hours into it over the past week offline. It's a game where I can jump into, turn my brain off, and lose a couple hours very quickly. And the numbers are always getting bigger, and that's one of the best parts about games for me. So I'm enjoying it. It was also on sale for like $5. At least the base game was. So definitely in the discount world, it's cheap as hell. I think with all the DLCs, it's like $30 or $40 on Steam. It's definitely on the cheaper side. It's been out for a very long time. I think there was a patch a month or so ago that added like MI items, which are boss specific item drops, is my understanding of that. They're not necessarily epic, but they are only droppable from those items, and you can definitely reload the game and farm items. It's also the type of game where, since it's peer-to-peer, so there's not like an online component like Path of Exile or anything. If you want to give yourself the best items, you can totally do that and just feel really powerful. And you can dupe items by like literally copy and pasting your save file so that it spawns a second character. Then you could just do that. I don't know why you would want to dupe items if you want to give them to your friend or something, but
There you go.
yeah, it's fun. Grim Dawn is it's a fun game. I don't know why it took this long for me to actually jump in. I think I played it when it first came out, and for whatever reason I fell off of it, but it's in a good spot right now. I can definitely recommend it. What else is
looking
going
forward to it?
Oh, you gonna play it for sure?
Oh yeah. I've got a big playthrough planned of it eventually, just whenever I have time. Yep. I'm definitely planning on diving in.
It's definitely worth it. What else? Been playing more Divinity. It's same thing as I always say. It's more Divinity. I just hit Act 3. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say with that. It's Divinity. If you've played Divinity, I like it. It's good. If you haven't, you should probably check it out. Anything else from you guys? Cohh, I know you've been playing a bunch of different stuff, and Zeke, we can maybe. I know we need to catch up on some Indies Sunday stuff. Cohh, you started Satisfaction? No. Yes.
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory. Started that today?
Yeah.
Satisfaction. Sure.
You started that Benny Benassi
That was on your mind?
track from like 10 years ago, right? You just had it on repeat.
Yep. Also finished Yakuza 5 yesterday.
Oh yeah, how was the end of that? Just real quick. Good.
Great.
Okay.
It's probably one of my favorite Yakuza games. All-star cast, crazy story, like 4 different big tendrils that kind of weave in, a very explosive ending. So I am very much excited for Yakuza 6. It was a ride from beginning to end for sure.
Nice. Are any of those characters coming back for 7, or is 7 just 100% standalone?
I think 7 is mostly standalone,
Okay.
but I heard maybe there's like references and maybe cameos, but I'm pretty sure the characters in 7 are designed specifically to be like a new thing. I mean, in NA, they aren't even calling it Yakuza 7. They're calling it Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Sure.
So they're kind of like starting everything over. Yeah.
Let's talk about Satisfaction, of course, the latest PC.
Satisfactory. Yeah.
Satisfaction. Yeah, that's the name of it. Satisfaction. Bring it up.
Wait a minute, is that out already? I didn't think you could get no satisfaction.
It's tough. Somehow Cohh got it.
Boom!
Good job, Zeke. Well done.
What
Well done.
now?
Thank you.
Is this just a game for people that like pretty lines and well-running oiled machines? What is the like, pitch this game? What is this game?
Okay. Satisfactory, from what I've seen so far, and I've played it for about 4 hours, is basically a giant automation. I don't want to call it a survival game because there's not really any survival aspects, but it's a big automation simulator.
Okay.
You work through a lot of different tech tiers. You have to design these giant factory structures. You do explore around the world. There is combat. You do have health, and you do lose it in combat fighting and stuff like that. But really, it's kind of a giant 3D Factorio, if you've heard of that game.
Yeah.
It is really pretty. The animations are great. I'm having a great time with it so far. I've already rebuilt my factory floor once, and I'm planning on probably doing it at least a few more times. But the big thing about this game that makes it so entertaining is not only does it give you lots of goals to work through as you kind of like rank up through these different tech fields, but also it's hugely creative. There's near endless ways to kind of set up your factory and plan your automation routes and do it effectively and efficiently. And it's a really cool giant creative sandbox.
Was someone said in chat that it finally came out on Steam? Was this Epic Game Store exclusive or something like that for a while?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes, this was an EGS exclusive for a while. Mhm.
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
It is now available on Steam.
I would assume it's doing very well on Steam.
I would guess so.
Okay. What is the goal in this game? Do you go to the moon? Do you get off the planet? What do you do? Or do you not know?
The game still is in early access.
Okay.
So it's under kind of heavy development. They have, I think, another big patch coming out later this year that's adding a lot of things. But the dev team is very active. They are active on Twitter all the time. They are constantly changing and adding the game. From what I understand, I don't know if even the devs know what kind of the big end game thing is going to be in this game. Like, I've heard that they've done some streams or interviews or something where they've kind of like gone in different directions as to where, the big finale of this game will be, if there even will be one. But no, it is still early access. It basically is kind of like make your own goals outside of the tech levels and the quests you get doing all that kind of stuff, and building your big ultimate factory. But yeah, all that's still under development.
Sorry, I'm just trying to grasp the. Okay, so that's like a coal mine or something that you're shipping back to the base. Yep. Right here. Okay.
Exactly. So the premise is you kind of have like these mining node areas. You build a mine around that, conveyor belt it back to a smelter, which converts it into like a bar. That then gets put into a constructor that constructs something, which then puts it into storage. You can use all that to do different things with. And all the stuff I'm doing right now is super early game. Apparently it gets a lot more complicated later.
I feel like this is the type of game where, are you trying to, well, apparently not. Do straight lines, are those not a goal for you in terms of...
Well, you certainly can have straight lines.
Okay.
You can 90-degree most things, absolutely. Since I know I'm going to be rebuilding all this, I'm kind of form over function, or function over form.
Gotcha.
For a lot of this stuff. So, there are going to be much better and cleaner ways to do almost everything I'm doing right now. Yeah. Gotcha. But all of my placement and stuff, you can see those green lines there. Whenever you're placing things, you can line them up evenly, and you can, cool. Space them exact amounts, and it snaps. And yeah, I kind of like glanced around on the Reddit, which it has a very active Reddit, seeing kind of what people have come up with just to see like what end game goals could be, and there are some phenomenally complex and large builds that you can make in this game. It's pretty impressive.
Do you ever get the ability to like hover or fly or anything? Are you always on foot?
I've heard you do.
Okay. I was gonna say that would make things a little bit easier.
You can also build big towers, and you can and the game is very forgiving in terms of, like when you're doing a power line or something, you don't need to run right next to the 2 points you're doing a power line. You can stand far away and just be like, I want that to connect to that, and it'll just put a big line between it. It's got a lot of great little QOL things that make it very easy to kind of build out what you're thinking. I still very much am learning all that stuff, but as I kind of learn the little nuances of the system, it becomes easier and easier to get ideas and blueprints down quickly.
In the sense of the world, is the only thing that's out there just higher tier resources? There's not like some sort of enemy to fight you or anything like that?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. So the world is beautiful. It's very lush. I started in kind of the beginning green area, but apparently there's different biomes, there's secrets, there's caves. I've already
Oh,
fought 4 different types of enemies. There's ruins that you can get equipment and stuff from. Maybe not ruins, but you can find items like hard drives and stuff out in the field. Apparently, exploration is a relatively big part of the game. I've barely scratched the surface of it yet, so I'll have more to talk about that as I put more time into it.
okay.
But yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking at. Well, exploring.
Yeah. Yeah. Barry in chat saying it's a handcrafted map with 14 kilometers square or 14 square kilometers.
Wow,
Why'd you say that? Back?
it is
Yeah.
also a beautiful game. Not only are the games beautiful, but the animations are like top notch.
Yeah. We'll go to the beginning here so we can kind of see a little bit more instead of the factory, as it were. Um, is this the starter biome? This looks like a different map entirely. Oh, this
It's
is this
different
like
time of the day, I
tutorial?
think.
Oh, okay. So this isn't
Mhm.
like a tutorial or
So you can
anything like
see
that.
this is the same building you just saw. Like all that stuff that was to the right, all those big factory and all that stuff. I hadn't even started building that yet. This I haven't
Gotcha.
even started putting down like my mining stuff or anything. So
Okay.
you do literally start just in the middle of a giant field, essentially, and you just kind of pop down your hub and start working.
Dang. All right. Have you played Astroneer? I think. Have you played that at all before?
Not really. I played it a little bit when it came out, very, very briefly. It has since come a long way. Barry, a friend of both our channels,
Yep.
or Carline, he has actually said the game has come a very, very long way since we played it last. So I do want to check it out again. Important mention, 'cause somebody asked this during the stream as well. Satisfactory is not really like Astroneer. Astroneer is a lot more kind of exploration of small base building elements,
Hmm.
where Satisfactory is all about like giant automation, like pie in the sky kind of stuff. They're not really, the gameplay is very different between them.
Gotcha. Someone in my chat asked if we would ever drop frames game this. I feel like we wouldn't, because if someone set up a great factory, one of us would be like, I'm just gonna remove this right here. It's gonna fuck everything up, and then we wouldn't say anything. And at the end of that, the show would not exist anymore. So
Satisfactory in a multiplayer element is a lot better when everyone kind of has a firm grasp of the game and they're all kind of working together towards something.
yeah,
Or they're all off doing their own thing, which would kind of, wouldn't really be a fun DFG anyway.
yeah,
So yeah, not the best game for something like that.
yeah. I agree exactly. Gunfire Reborn. Just a quick bit on this.
Yeah.
What is this? I feel like I've
Gunfire
heard of this
Reborn.
game, but I have no idea what you're
Yeah.
doing.
This game I just decided to try for a little bit before an EverQuest raid, which I've since shelved for now. But I ended up playing this for like an hour or so, and ended up playing it like 4 or 5 nights in a row. It is basically a roguelite with tons of power-ups, lots of different weapon types, multiple different characters, like little skill trees that you can kind of go down and explore with different levels of different skills. It is essentially a 3-level roguelite, or 3 types of levels roguelite, where you kind of have a goal of clearing a run. So there's tough bosses. Every run feels different because of the huge amount of different items, power ups, and passives you can get, and it's really enjoyable. It's actually a lot of fun. It's also co-op. I played it co-op for a little bit. It works really well in co-op, and yeah, I had a great time with it. I still may go back and play more of it. I ended up clearing one of the runs finally, and getting the new character, which has an entire different play style. So it's a very fun little game. I was pretty blown away by how much I enjoyed it.
Is it pretty recent? I, I think I
Relatively recent, I think.
maybe Dodger was playing this, or I've seen this game before, but I looked at it and just didn't know what the hell I was looking at. It
Could have been.
what is it? Dauntless. Dauntless is that like Monster Hunter game that's not Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah, I
Free
think
to play
so.
Monster Hunter.
Does this have similar art style to that, or am I just misremembering that game?
Well, it's cell shading, so it kind of looks kind of
Oh, okay.
Borderlandsy a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
That's why it looks
it's definitely
similar.
got like some cell shady looking stuff. Yeah. The
Yeah.
also cool thing about it is not only is every run basically completely different, but you earn a kind of currency that you spend between runs on kind of like a meta skill tree that gets you all sorts of bonuses that's continually going up. So it is roguelite by definition because you're constantly gaining in power even when you die.
Ah.
And it's a nice element. The stuff you get from it is pretty, pretty useful to the core gameplay loop. So it's good.
I know you're playing this solo right here, and I've seen you play with a bunch of, I think, viewers, berries in there, and a handful of other people, maybe your mods. Do you prefer one way or the other? Do you think people should play it one way or the other? Is it a fun with friends game? Is the short answer or the short
It's
question?
definitely fun with friends, but it also, if you're trying to like progress and kind of like do well, I found it to be a lot easier solo.
Ah,
Not only does the game get significantly more difficult with friends, but if your friends die, then you lose. Like if a friend dies, then you are stuck with generally like a souped up boss,
ah,
and it can be a lot of trouble sometimes. So yeah, I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more solo because like it would kind of I had more control over the gameplay experience. Um, but I did have a lot of fun just playing with friends too. It does work really well in co-op.
gotcha. Full release? You might have said, is this full release or early access or?
I think it's early access. I'm pretty sure it's early access. I'd have to verify that, but
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure it's early access. Yeah.
Let me look at it here.
Mm-mm.
$12. Yeah, early access. It is indeed.
Yep. And
Uh,
definitely worth $12. Like it's great for $12 for sure.
Came out at the end of May, overwhelmingly positive on Steam. So seems like Cohh's not alone.
This was the run that I ended up winning with. I'm playing a character that has souped up explosive passives. And then I found two different like big launcher weapons that each have this like really rare perk where they fire 3 bullets at a time. And then this character has a special ability where he dual wields his weapons. So I would be dual wielding these gigantic like just like 3 giant explosives going off on each side. It was absolutely nuts. And it's kind of fun how you can get kind of completely OP runs just every so often when all the stars kind of align and synergize in these really powerful buffs.
Huh. Yeah, I was reading a couple there on screen. Everyone, it seems like each run is just vastly different, or can be vastly different if you want it to be. Yeah, makes
Yep.
sense.
These are like abilities that kind of stack up in terms of three, and the third level of those abilities is usually kind of really powerful and has a secondary buff. And then the way you get those is random though. So each character has like 3 lines, and then I think 6 buffs in each one. And every time you get like a power up, it just randomly picks some from your entire big book. So it can be all sorts of different things as you kind of work through it.
Cool.
Leads to many different types of runs.
Yeah, replayability is a major factor of this, I would assume. So
Big. Yep.
cool. That's Gunfire Reborn on Steam for like $13, $12 right now. Zeke, you mentioned Last of Us 2 off stream. Anything else on stream? I know I'll probably bring up Indie Sunday footage. But was there anything else besides Deadly Premonition?
Not really. We talked about Detroit Become Human. Oh, did we talk about Call of Cthulhu Prisoner of Ice?
I don't think so.
Call of Cthulhu Prisoner of Ice. I played through it. It was a lot of fun. I played the demo of Mortal Shell after we talked about it as well.
Okay. We'll get your thoughts on that as well. Talk to us about Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, what do you think?
Call of Cthulhu Prisoner of Ice is so delightfully 1995. The walking animations, the voice acting, the script. It is the sound effects. It's one of those ones that if you were playing it when it came out, you might have been like, holy shit, this is revolutionary. Look at this. Like a point and click game that looks like, it's really animated and all this kind of stuff. It's not pixelated. But now you're playing it, fucking 25 years later, and it's just hilarious. It was fairly simple, not too difficult puzzle wise or moon logic or anything like that. but there's just so much wonderful, ridiculous like lines and acting and monster like stuff you do with how the monsters are like behave. Like there's instant like you have to do this like a couple of parts over and over again because you don't know what to do and they don't give you a whole lot of time. They like give you like 5 seconds to figure out how to defeat this monster, or he comes over to you and he claws you gently and you fall down very like stage fall. You're like, whoa. Like die like that, and you do that like you do it like half a dozen, sometimes even like 15 times until you figure out, oh, there's a little button over there. I got to go over there and press it before he comes over and gets me.
Sure.
And stuff like that. But man, it was a fantastic little romp. I think it took me, a little under 6 hours to beat it. It's $6, so $1 an hour, I guess, if that matters to you. And it really shows its age, but it's not in a bad way. Like this game is fully like totally playable. It functions just like a point and click should function. The age is showing in the graphics and the like. Look at his butt. I'm just look at the character model's butt.
Yeah,
it is tight. It is like stuck in there. You can't use it as an emote though. Don't try.
Yeah, no,
it's too good of a butt.
It'll get removed. 100%.
Too good of a butt to use as an emote. Because it looks just like you could put a quarter in there and get 2 dimes and a nickel, you know?
Of course.
But it was fun to like, you know how I love making fun of and having fun with old shit. The game itself is okay as far as like it's not super challenging. It's more of just the fun of it, just going back and seeing like how far we've come and shit like that. But
yeah,
I had a blast.
All right, Call of Cthulhu, Prisoner Ice, not Rice, Ice. I don't know why I said Rice.
I went back and tried to play because this is actually a sequel to a game called Call of Cthulhu: Shadow of the Comet.
Sure.
And I went back and tried to play Shadow of the Comet, and that is one of those examples. Like it's just a little too old. Yeah, the functionality of it is different. It's like the difference between playing like it felt like going from a video game to like a text adventure, you know? Like
I get what you're saying.
Different mindset, different thing. Like you have to have way more patience than I had, and it wasn't fun or funny enough to warrant continuing playing it.
Gotcha. Oh yeah.
As far as the Indie Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the Indie Sunday goes, there's probably only 2 games that I would like to talk about
in the America edition.
The America edition.
Great, let's talk about
it. One of them I played for quite a while, so you can find the biggest chunk probably.
I'm looking at the wrong bot. Hold on, stand by.
Okay.
Find the right bot.
And you'll know it by like the character model being very like it's bad graphics, but it's I'm flying through the air, or not like jumping through the air and falling and falling through things. And
I'm gonna guess it's
called Mr. President.
Oh, it is Mr. Okay, it's Mr. President. We got it.
Oh, this is the hub. This is where you choose your levels.
Gotcha. Let's skip that a little bit.
There we go. This is a game I did not expect this game to be as fun as it was, because look at it. Well, what you do is you're a bodyguard. You're a bodyguard Secret Service agent for obviously the character of President Trump.
Yes.
But you have to like jump in front of the assassin's bullet, and you have to either take the bullet or yourself, because you're bulletproof.
Sure.
You're that's why he hired you, because you're a bulletproof person. They don't really explain it much more than that. Or
video games.
You tackle the president out of the way of the bullet. And it is like, some of it is fucking challenging. Like, it's a level attack game. So you like, once you complete it, you go on to the next thing. But like, there are different ways you can complete. I like the variation of ways you can complete it. Like, you can jump in front of the bullet and take it, or you could just fucking wreck, like linebacker tackle the president to get him out of the way. And the physics are great. The good thing, or the really fun thing about this game, is the Secret Service agent you're playing, his like if you run into anything bigger than like a pebble,
Yeah.
his legs just like go out from under him and he kind of falls down. So you have to like judge, like it's kind of co-op-ish that way, where it's just like you hit anything and he's just like, "Bleh," and he takes a second to get back up again. So you don't want to like run into anything. If you run into a wall, if you try to go downstairs, anything like that. So you got to find a flat surface or something you can fly over. And that's how I ended up beating that level. Is you just take the sniper's position and crush it, like get, take it out from under him. But it ended up being really, really fun. Oh, you got to watch this though. This is a great.
What?
This is what I got to protect the president from. There are two. I was like, I got it. Nope.
What?
You gotta protect the president from two falling giant tacos. That's how the assassin chose to try and assassinate the president. Was
Sure.
not one but two giant tacos.
Great.
It's very satirical. It's very like and anti-Trump propaganda stuff in there.
Well, it's not Trump. It's Rump. This isn't
It's
president.
Rump. You're
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
It is
yeah.
Rump. It is Rump.
There's no relationship to the current president.
But even if if it had none of that, because it does have like it's very like harsh on him. But I think this game would be fun without any sort of reference to him at all.
Yeah.
I think if it was just like President blank and you have to save him, it's fucking fun, man. It was like, and there's lots of levels. I didn't beat all of them. However, I will say the reason why I stopped playing, because I would have kept playing it. I played it for 2 hours. The reason why I stopped playing was because there was a level where it's like Trump has a rally in Oklahoma or whatever, and the level starts and you're walking up and you're like, oh, there's a burning cross. Okay, that day game's done.
Jesus
I mean, they're
Christ.
just making like racist like correlations to him
Yeah.
and shit like that. So I was like, not on stream. I get it. I get the joke, but like, or the, whatever, the poke.
Probably
but,
a safe call.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get the point across that this game would be great without any reference to any particular political affiliation. It was fucking fun. The game is called Mr. President. It's $9.99 and it's developed and published by Game Developer X. I like that. I like that his name is Game Developer X. It's fairly old though. It came out in 2016.
It is an interesting, like, imagine a game where, imagine Hitman, but you're not the Hitman. You're trying to protect the VIP.
Yeah.
Like that would be a pretty full-fledged fun game, potentially. But maybe not in this satirical sense. Maybe it was like not a flying body whose legs go limp when running into objects. But
Now, this is what I'm talking about. This kind of like, this is what made the controls hard, because if you fucking miss it, like you barely touch the barrel, you got to do a fucking flip over all of them because you cannot walk on the sand.
I love the
sand
slow-mo.
is too loose to walk on. You got to do front flips over all of these. You got to do a front flip, and it was fun to watch too.
Yeah,
like
the slow-mo's
people were
great.
really enjoying it. And then oh, that's right. Slow mo is one of the big things in the game. You can slow mo anytime. And then you got to try and get there before the bullet. Oh, just barely missed. Just barely too late.
Good Lord.
Yeah. It was fun.
All right. That's Mr. President. What was the other game you want to take a look at?
The other game I want to talk about, just very briefly. It was fun. I didn't play it for very long, but it's called Election Year Knockout, a 2020 Punch-Out style president debate. And the only reason why I want to mention it is because it mechanically it's all very sound. It's all there. It's got like lots of people from both political sides, and it's fun to like throw a punch at like Jeb Bush or Donald Trump in a fucking an AOC. I think AOC is in it. Just to throw play Mike Tyson style punch out with them. I had a blast doing it.
Wait, is Mike Tyson one of the reporters? Or is this just?
Oh, perhaps, I don't know.
Huh.
Bernie Sanders, and you can see kind of a list if you look at the box art on the Steam page. You can see kind of like who's all in it if you can work out the characters. It is a little spendy. It's a little on the high side. It's $19.99.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. So it's a little on the spendy side, but I mean it's a solid game. It's developed and published by Exceptional. So like Exception NULL.
Sure.
Exceptional Games. Developed and published. Came out July 2nd. So it's fairly new.
Cool. That's that.
Yeah.
All right. We're probably gonna be taking a break here to get Mike situated in about 5 or 10 minutes. And then we'll be talking to him for the next hour or the final hour of the show. Those Ghosts of Tsushima reviews came out. Did you guys, Cohh, did you check any of them out? At Zeke, I don't even know if you plan on playing the game, but did you see any of them, Cohh?
I've heard good things overall. Skill Up said it was pretty good. Generally hearing good things. There were a few people who came in the channel today and said that some reviews were saying that the open world was kind of uninspiring and the side quests and stuff were kind of repeatable.
Yeah.
Very, not very flavorful. But that being said, overall, I have heard good things.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm checking it out tomorrow morning. So I'm trying to kind of keep all that stuff out of not really reading too much into them.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people said it's just, it is an open world game that does not like add anything to like the open world genre, but it is a good open world game is essentially what I've kind of seen. They also said that it's for whatever it's just a drop dead gorgeous game from like top to bottom. Everything about it is really pretty. That's probably what I'm most interested in right now. It's just kind of seeing the game and how it looks and how it runs. The open world stuff is fine. I played through a shit ton of Assassin's Creed. If it's anything like that, I'm super about that. So we'll be talking about that next week. Looking forward to playing it this week as well. I'm just seeing if there's any other. None of you guys are interested in Paper Mario, right? The new Paper Mario. I think you guys are both so anti Nintendo. I'm not even sure why I'm bringing it up.
Not anti-Nintendo.
I heard that
neutral.
you shit on Nintendo every single chance you get, just nonstop. You just hate Mario. You're jealous of you're literally Bowser, is what I gather. Fair. Yeah. I'm not gonna play it either. So I was just curious if you guys would check it out.
If they come out with like another like a style, not copy, but a style homage like they did with Rabbids. They did the
you mean like Mario X Rabbids type deal, like
exactly.
crossover?
Yeah. Like the XCOM style, like the tactical, grid-based, turn-based stuff. Like if they do something like that, I'm totally down. Like I loved Mario X Rabbids or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I think it was Mario X Rabbids. There was
I really enjoyed that. If they do something like that, I'm in. But I tried to play the last few platforming or 3D Mario games, and like what was the most recent big one or full one, like the hat one?
Oh God, I've got Galaxy on the brain. That's not Galaxy. Chat Odyssey. That's Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah.
I tried playing it. And I don't have the love I used to have for it anymore.
Man, that blows my mind. I get it. If you don't have the love, you don't have the love. But
same with Zelda. I fell out of love with Zelda too.
Oh, I know. We trust. I know both how you feel about Zelda, unquestionably, and unwaveringly. Trust me. You said you played Mortal Shell. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I think we kind of skipped over it.
I'm wondering too.
It's a Souls-like. It's one of the games that you can say like, this is like Dark Souls. It absolutely is, and I'm in. I'm there. I'm there for it. It's great. It was challenging. It was fun. I died so often, trying out new things, trying cool things, trying to get this exactly the way I wanted to, figuring out how stuff works. I like the idea that you can fully switch your character or whatever, your style, your shell on the fly. So like you got one shell that's like, oh, this guy's super quick and he does he's good for these enemies.
Right.
And then if you take one of those spirit thing, whatever the fuck they're called, usable items, you can switch to a different shell. It's like, oh, these guys, the beefy guy, he takes care of them with one swipe pretty quickly, pretty easily, shit like that. I like that idea. I really do. I don't know if I like the how you heal in the game. It's I hate heal over times.
Oh, it's not instant. It's
at least the stuff I found wasn't instant.
Oh, okay.
I found you eat a mushroom, you heal over time, and I'm like, I gotta keep running away from these enemies until my fucking mushroom is fully kicked in.
Yeah. I can see how that'd be frustrating.
That's whatever.
Did you're obviously we talked about it last week a little bit with magic interested when it comes to the Dark Souls game. Did the lack of magic was it felt? Were you wanting more range attacks, or it was fine?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Right. It's fine. I mean, I go into most of those kind of games. My first character is usually a magic user, but if they don't have any, I'm fine to mix it up like in melee.
Cool.
Yeah. It's just a preference. The thing I don't like is when they say like, oh, here's an arcane stat. Oh, I'm gonna put all my points in that. Oh, it doesn't matter. Thanks a pant load.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, you're just upset at Bloodborne still of how wrong they did you.
I thought, dude, they did me wrong. They did me dirty. They did me dirty.
They did. I know. I'm aware. Not really much like Twitch news. They did change their emotes. I don't know if you guys have messed around with that. I saw Julia talking about how it's not like you still want to. So essentially, let's talk about what they introduced and then the issues with it. For streamers, they introduced the ability to just upload the largest emote instead of the 3 different versions of the emote. And Twitch will kind of crunch the image on their own and spit that out. From everything that I've seen, Gears, Julia, Elu, they all said that it's not necessarily perfect in the sense if you are going to kind of alter that the smaller 28 by 28 emote, it's going to look better if you upload that by itself, but it saves a lot of time. I've uploaded emotes with it over the past week, and like it was really nice to just drag one in there, type in the thing, and you're done. But it does kind of mess with the quality a teeny tiny bit. I don't know. Cohh, have you messed with that around or a lot? I know you change your emotes.
Not the new one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sticking to the 3 images. You just have to. You just have to click an advanced tab now. It just goes right over to the 3 old style, and it sticks and everything works fine. So
yeah,
it's probably more conducive for hand drawn stuff to do this the style we've had.
Yeah, for sure. And I know like Julia for most of the like. I don't want to say, what's the word? The historied emote makers on Twitch know the like very granular details to mess with the 28 by 28 emote to make it pop or make it more standouty and not like blur, because they are a little bit a pain in the ass when it comes to that stuff. But it seems like, if you don't mind, you can just upload that 128 by 128 emote and it crunches all the stuff. So it's nice. Apart from that, though, I don't think there's really anything like Twitch related. The gift card stuff, have you guys seen gift cards in stores? I guess, when was the last time you were at a store? I haven't really been to a store in forever. So
yeah.
Is that like the internet?
Yeah, I guess I guess you can buy them on the internet. Yeah, that's the only store that I go to these days. So, and then they also introduced the multi-month gifting, where you can gift multiple months to a single user in streams. And that's,
I don't think anyone's used that in my channel. Does it come up with it? Or maybe they have, but it doesn't have a different message. Does it have a different message?
It does. So I had someone do it sometime this past week. And it essentially says, so-and-so gifted three so-and-so gifted 3 gifted subs to X user. And then it just has, like they got 3 months. So and so got 3 months of subscription. I think you can go up to a year for that if you want to, and it seems like it's only on a single case, like single user basis. I don't think you can gift 100 subs, 12 months of subscription. I don't think,
okay.
that would. I think that would. That's like what, $6,000 essentially. I don't think that you can make that large of a purchase in the gifted sub world. So just seems to be 12 months is max for a single user.
Well, if you gave five people 2 months apiece, that's what, $50?
We're getting into dangerous territory, Zeke. I'm not going to fall for this trap of doing math on stream.
Well, 5 times 5 is 25, times 2 is 50, right?
Sure,
So
yeah.
it'd be $50 to give 5 people 2 months.
I'll agree
1
with
plus
whatever you
1
say
plus
here.
2 plus 1. You hit
Okay.
you shut the chandelier, and then
What about the candlestick?
It's always a candlestick.
that was in the study.
Gotta be careful.
Common mistake.
All right, let's take a break. We're ready for Mike Shinoda joining us here in the last hour. We'll be right back after this. And then, yeah, more drop frames next week if you're going to be departing. But I'd stick around because we get to talk to Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. I think we're all pretty super excited about this. So we'll be right back, and we'll be joined by Mr. Mike Shinoda right after this. If you say his name 3 times, he shows up faster, I've heard. We'll be right back. We'll see you guys soon.